It's Beats One, Apple Music. Up next, artist Sabrina Claudio. Available on Apple Music. About Time. This project, why About Time?
So I didn't really know what the project was about until I took a second to listen to everything, and I realized that subconsciously I was writing every song with something having to do with time, whether it was losing time, gaining time, not having enough of it. And so I was like, this project is literally about time. So that's where it came from.
So let's get to a record off the album. I want to talk about your sound too, because you sound wise beyond your years. The music is, as your manager described it, timeless, and I was looking for words. But you also have like this mystic, magical, sensual air. And
thank you.
At 21, that's a lot. I didn't expect all of that, and I'm happy. But I want to talk about that, finding how you found all of that.
Well, I think it's important to mention that I don't typically write from personal experience. I'm surrounded by a lot of grown people in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm really close to my family. My friends are usually in their 30s or higher. And I am the type of person that when I have a friendship, I want to get to know you as personal as possible. So these songs come from a lot of the stories that I've been told because I haven't lived enough. I've never really been in love. I've only been in 2 relationships in my life. It's not something that I want to really talk about. I mean, I just like to think of myself as a storyteller. It's kind of like channeling that other person that maybe I'm not, but that I can be. And I'm, not afraid to be vulnerable in that moment when writing the songs.
I guess you are feeling it.
Yeah.
So, unravel me. Talk to me about this first record and explain where it came from.
So this record is about really a female in my life that is kind of, she gets over people really quickly and she never knows how to get out of the relationship and she consistently makes excuses to try to get them out of the relationship. She just doesn't want to be mean. She doesn't want to break their heart. So she's like, oh, well, the sun is like making me sweat today, so I don't think we should be together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just stupid things like that. But it was just a conversation that I had and I thought it was funny, but I turned it into Unravel.
I love it. Belong to you, since you've clearly expressed that you don't want to belong to anyone.
Definitely not. I do not belong to anybody but myself.
Is this song about not belonging to someone else, or are you speaking to yourself in the mirror?
This song, when you listen to the song, it can mean whatever you want. It can mean that you belong to a person. It can mean that you belong to yourself. But me, personally, I wanted to let people know that when I wrote the song, I was talking to myself.
How did you link up with Black for the remix?
Black actually reached out to me prior to the tour happening, just as like a fan kind of thing. But he's really nice and we exchanged numbers and we've been keeping in contact. And then the tour happened where we, it was just like everything happened so quickly. And I released Belong to You, and I thought I was always wanting kind of like a feature on my project, but never one that was unorganic. So since I was in contact with Black, I was like, yo, it'd be kind of cool if you would hop on this and see what happens with it. And then he just killed it and it sounds amazing. So
it is. It's very good.
Yeah, it's really good.
When we go back to Confidently Lost, being confident and lost at the same time, which if you play it out sounds like a recipe for disaster, confidently lost, because then how do you get found if you're confidently lost?
So I wrote that song when I first moved to LA. Prior to moving to LA was like a good year, 2 years of just being miserable.
Around music or school or the combo?
Everything. I was actually, I don't know what it was, but naturally I was an unhappy person. So that plus school being horrible, plus music not working out, just a recipe for disaster. So then I moved to LA with the mindset, like it took a good amount of time to prepare myself, but with the mindset of just like starting over and not being afraid to do that. And so Confidently Lost was exactly what I was feeling in the moment.
How did you find that? Because I'm sure there was periods where you weren't as confident.
For sure. But I think what helped me the most was having a really strong support system. But my advice to other people is just to realize that, everybody's pace is different in life. Everybody's purpose, everybody's path is different. So I think what really hurts me, even till this day, is comparing myself to other people. So I don't want people to look at me and listen to me and realize that I'm still young and be like, I'm either not her age, close to her age, or older, and I'm not in that position. Like, don't compare yourself to other people because, like I said, everybody's journey in life is very different. And I think once we understand that, obviously with whatever we're going through in life, but to understand that is a big step.
Sabrina, so growing up in your house was mom, dad, you have siblings?
I have one brother, and parents are still married, high school sweethearts.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Shout to them. Amazing. But was it a lot of music in the house? A lot of singing,
There
dancing?
was a lot of, okay, so before I got into music, I was definitely more into dancing. But music in the house for sure, all the time. Not really musicians. My brother's a musician, but parents, medical field, like they don't, they're not into
regular
that.
folks.
Right, exactly.
So when you're creating, were there any artists that you grew up listening to that you see in yourself now that are a part of your inspiration, or were you listening to anything that took you down this path? Because sonically, you're on a very original path for a 20-year-old. You're not trying to be like anyone else. You don't sound like you're trying to be like anyone else, and I appreciate that. Where did you find that?
Well, that's the thing. I get inspired a lot by different things, mainly genres. And my fear of like idolizing one specific artist is that I'm going to become them.
Yeah.
So I don't have someone that I can compare myself to necessarily, but I grew up on R&B, and as I got older, I started listening to a lot of bossa nova and jazz. My grandfather got me into that kind of stuff when I was older, and I was like able to understand what it was. So that's where the influences come from. And obviously being Cuban and Puerto Rican, growing up in Miami, I have a lot of Latin influences and just like sounds and sonics and all
That's
that
beautiful.
Stuff. Yeah.
Do you feel like it was tough to find your sound?
So I think I always knew what the sound was. I just never had the voice. I started at 14, so I was not as confident and as stubborn as I am now. So I was very easily manipulated by the people that I was working with. And although I knew exactly what I wanted to do all the time, obviously I was learning and just learning about myself and growing as an individual, but I always had a sense of what I wanted to do. I just never spoke about it. I tried the whole Lana Del Rey thing, I did a whole bunch of different genres because it was what was hot at the moment. And in my heart, I knew it was just not what it was going to be. But I didn't have the strength to be like, no, like I can write, like I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can write like I'm 20 years old.
Right.
That's when I was 14. Now I write like I'm 40. It just gets worse. But
no, it gets better, not worse, better.
Thank you.
I like
But that was pretty much it. And it took me a good minute it was just about strength. I always knew the sound that I wanted. I just didn't have the voice at the moment. But I finally got it when I moved to LA and I met my amazing team.
Let's talk about your dad.
My dad?
Let's talk about dad.
Oh, he's going to be so happy about this.
Talk about dad. Shout to dad. I have a daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd feel if I saw her album cover and it had her butt on it. Project
Can I just
cover,
say this?
any graphic where it was like, yo, that is my daughter's butt. Dude.
Wait.
What's happening out here?
Because I thought the same thing, especially when I was doing the video. I prepared him. I was like, look, I'm about to send you the link to the video before it was out. And I'm like, I made sure to text him, right? Because I didn't want to be in the house or with him. So I just texted him when I was like out. And his response was so mind-blowing. I was like, did I text the right person? Because he was like, this is beautiful.
Oh, good.
This is so classy and artistic. And I was like, I didn't even respond for like a good hour. I was like, I'm confused. But I was very worried. Just like
well, then that means he did a good job. Your parents are awesome, man. The fact that they've supported your dream and the person that you are, and then look, in his heart, I guarantee you he was uncomfortable.
For sure.
I guarantee you.
Yeah, for sure.
But
he's that supportive.
Right. And he knows and trusts that, and you're an awesome person and you're an awesome artist.
Thanks.
And I think it's all coming together for you, and I'm super, super happy for you. Sabrina Claudio, Apple Music.